And welcome to Music Meanderings. I'm Mike Lamneck, and today we'll take a look at 3 classic rock groups and discuss, should they hang it up? Should they call it quits? Coming up next on Music Meanderings. I'm Mike Lamneck. It is Music Meanderings. And there's been a lot of talk recently about certain classic rock groups. Should they hang it up? Should they call it quits? Are they taking it too far? Do they not know when to leave the party, as Paul Stanley of Kiss once famously said? Well, I will just give you an overview of my opinion. I think it is up to the group. When they want to quit, they want to quit. If they still have people buying their records, more importantly, coming out to see them live, then that is fine. They can continue to do that as long as they want to. Because at this point in time with social media, there's full transparency. I mean, back in the day, you didn't really have a way to go and see what original members were still in the group. Right? I mean, unless you happen to pick up a magazine or maybe in the newspaper, perhaps see it on TV, but for the most part, they could kind of conceal who was actually in the group. In fact, there were many groups back then that had 2 or 3 different versions of the band on the road, and people they didn't know it because it wasn't out there. You didn't have a way to access that information like you do today. But today, with social media, I once heard one classic rock musician say, well, if only there was a way for people to check and see. Well, there is. It's very easy. If you want to check and see who's in your favorite band or in a band that you are contemplating if you're going to go see live or not, just do a little research. It's not hard. Get on the internet. Google it. You can easily find out who is performing in these bands and then make an educated decision based on that. Do you want to go see them with that lineup? It's pretty easy to do. So if these bands want to stay on the road, if they want to continue what they're doing, as long as they're not being deceptive about it, and these days it's pretty hard to be deceptive about it, then more power to them. Well, let's dive in. The first band, mollyhatchet, released 6 studio albums, all on the Epic record label between 1978 and 1984, including their 2 biggest records, probably their debut and then Flirtin' with Disaster. And Beating the Odds did pretty good in 1980 as well. Had some single success on the U.S. Billboard charts with Flirtin' with Disaster. You still hear that a lot on classic rock radio, and all the original members of the band have died. Despite having no original members, mollyhatchet continues to perform and record. Their current lineup includes newcomer Parker Lee on vocals, also longtime members Bobby Ingram on lead guitar, John Galvin on keys, and drummer Sean Beamer and bassist Tim Lindsay, who both have been with the band for more than 20 years. You can find out more about the band and check out their touring schedule at mollyhatchet.com. Well, another band that has endured a lot of criticism as of recent because they're touring with no original members at this point, that is Foreigner. British-American rock band formed in New York City back in 1976. I was blessed to see them in, I believe, 1978 on their Double Vision tour. Guitarist Mick Jones, vocalist Lou Gramm, drummer Dennis Elliott, Al Greenwood on keys, bassist Ed Gagliardi, and multi-instrumentalist Ian MacDonald was the original lineup. One of the best-selling rock bands of all time, with worldwide sales exceeding 80 million records. String of top hit singles that you still hear today. Feels Like the First Time, Cold as Ice, the classic Hot Blooded and Double Vision, of course, Urgent, Waiting for a Girl Like You, Jukebox Hero, and I Want to Know What Love Is. And according to a press release on their website, foreigneronline.com, the band, although they've announced their farewell tour, they're not ready to call it quits quite yet. And they've extended that farewell tour into 2025. Founder and only remaining original member Mick Jones no longer tours due to a Parkinson's diagnosis. The current lineup includes Jeff Pilson on bass and backing vocals, Kelly Hansen, lead vocals, Michael Bluestein on keys, Bruce Watson, lead and rhythm guitars, and Chris Frazier on drums. And finally, Yes, the legendary English progressive rock band formed in London in 1968 by lead singer John Anderson, bass player Chris Squire, guitarist Peter Banks, keyboardist Tony Kaye, and drummer Bill Bruford. Yep, even with Steve Howe still in the lineup, the argument can be made that the band contains no truly original members because he was first featured on their third record, the classic Yes album. But I think for most of us, he's considered to be part of the band's classic lineup. Well, the band has undergone numerous lineup changes throughout the history. If you have followed them, they have had various incarnations. Since February 2023, the band has consisted of guitarist Steve Howe, keyboardist Jeff Downs, bassist Billy Sherwood, singer John Davidson, and drummer Jay Schellen. Now, they released Mirror to the Sky in 2023. Pretty good album, I think. Meanwhile, original vocalist John Anderson is touring, playing all the Yes classics with his new group, John Anderson and the Band Geeks. Again, you know, in my opinion, these bands and other bands can continue. Original members, one original member, no original members. However they want to do it, just do your homework before you go and see them and go ahead and check out who's in the band if that matters to you. A lot of folks, as long as they have the original sound, that's all they care about. So check out who's in these bands before you go and see them. This is Music Meanderings. I'm Mike Lamneck. Please subscribe and thanks for watching the video.